This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis.
It's the Morning Majlis.
Before the coronavirus pandemic, many companies around the world were already using a video conferencing app called Zoom for business meetings, for interviews, and for other purposes. But these days, many individuals during the pandemic have moved to Zoom to speak to their friends, their family, and an unprecedented number of companies have joined the fray and embraced the app to conduct their meetings and facilitate remote work as well. Zoom has exploded in popularity this year. Its shares are up 550% so far, and it's become a part of our daily lives. And here to talk to us about Zoom is Sam Tayan, Zoom's managing director in the Middle East and North Africa. Good morning, Sam. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
First of all, thanks for coming along. Can you talk to us about the survey you've conducted on the use of Zoom here in the United Arab Emirates?
Yes, we conducted a survey, as you mentioned, on the use of Zoom here in the United Arab Emirates, particularly gathering the views of Emirati nationals to get an idea of some of their opinions and views regarding Zoom.
Yes.
And could you talk to us about the findings?
Yeah, most certainly. So some of the key findings that we got was that, for example, 76% of respondents, as I said, who were Emirati nationals, preferred Zoom as their preferred video application, video communications application. So that was 76% basically preferred to use Zoom. Furthermore, we looked at other aspects. We asked people whether Zoom would or video communications applications would play an important role post-COVID, and 83% of them said it was important to access video communications applications post-COVID. We also asked a couple more questions as well. We wondered as to whether a permanent lift on the voice over IP ban would help the economy and innovation. We got an interesting 66% responding positively to that, saying yes, it would help the economy and innovation in that respect. Furthermore, we looked at aspects of opinions regarding work from home in the future. Here, 69% said they expected to work from home in the future. With if we break that down, 31% expected of the respondents expected to work from home full time. 38% expected to work from home and from the office, so they're kind of a blended situation there. And only 27% expected to be back at the office full time. So, as I said, that's 69% expect working from home to play a role in their future work mix. So, very interesting results.
Certainly have been. We'd like to touch a little bit more on Zoom as a platform. 2020 has certainly been a very difficult year for a lot of companies, but
not for Zoom.
Not for Zoom. You could say it was Zoom's boom. So talk to us about this little boom, particularly in the Middle East. Did you see a specific rise in the number of new users, rise in the number of applications or downloads that you've seen that you could share with us?
We did, in fact. So we did see an increase in usage. I mean, specifically in the first month, which followed the service becoming available in the United Arab Emirates, we saw within the first week about 100,000 people signing up, and then a 900% increase in that by the end of the month. So those as example figures show, yes, we did see quite a significant increase. Specifically, we also saw, obviously, the use cases around the country extend and expand. So there's the obvious ones, schools and universities. A lot of schools and universities adopted Zoom, and many people with children or who were in universities themselves saw that. And we saw many innovative use cases as well. Things, were very pleasing to see in terms of people using it for social interaction. You know, I read in the paper of weddings and get-togethers and all kinds of things like that taking place, which I would say really interesting, innovative uses. And for, you know, coaching and communications in lots of different ways on a social front and on a business front.
Yeah, adding to what Abdul Karim asked you, Sam, I want to touch more on why Zoom in particular. Why did this happen to Zoom out of all the other video conferencing platforms out there? You just touched on 900% growth. So why do you think from your perspective?
Yes, as I said, 900% was in fact from the start to the finish of the first month after the service became available. Yes, well, there's a few things I'd like to point to. First of all, we like to think that we're very focused on the customer and providing a really good video experience. So the quality of the video experience, you know, you hear people well, you see people well on the platform. The ease of use, the ease and ability to connect smoothly and quickly, I think that's really important as well. A lot of people want a simple and smooth method of connecting up. I think that's very important indeed. We were very early in having the ability to have up to 49 people on the same screen, which of course is very useful for education because you can, you know, if you're a teacher, you can see the whole class of students on screen as well. And furthermore, we've really worked very hard on the security aspects, and now we feel as if we're right at the front of the pack in terms of security, with end-to-end security, with waiting rooms, with lots of features that make people confident that their meetings will be not only very convenient, very smooth, very good audio and video, but also be very secure as well.
And sorry about, so end-to-end encryption is live now, right, as part of the app?
Yes.
Brilliant. Yeah, and a quick question as well, because we've talked about the influx of new users. Has that posed a challenge for Zoom as an organization, having to keep up with the great demand?
Well, I mean, obviously there's always challenges to do with serving the customers and so on, but I think as users of Zoom, you're well positioned to comment. I think we continue to offer a great experience for the end users, and it's smooth and, you know, audio video great. So yes, you're the best judges, really.
And based on the findings that you touched on earlier, how do you think Zoom can support the economy here and innovation in the nation of UAE?
I think the survey says a lot, you know, and particularly the question which was regarding work from home in the future. I think, you know, the fact that a majority of people felt that remote working will play a role, 69% thought that, I think points to the blended benefits, the benefits of blended working. I mean, I think all of us have taken Zoom meetings at home and have, you know, saved some, you know, travel through the traffic. We've been able to see maybe more people more quickly. The UAE is a hub. It's an international center in terms of business and so on. So, of course, communicating with businesses in other countries smoothly and quickly is definitely beneficial as well. So those are all of the things. So whether it be, you know, keeping out of traffic jams, or whether it be communicating with people internationally, whether it be collaborating on projects, there's many ways where potentially I think it offers a great deal of benefit.
Certainly is a very happy moment for Zoom in general, and now you know, I would like to also highlight that when you just touched upon the weddings took place, we even produced a radio show on Zoom platform during the work from home scenario. So that's another little feather on the cap. Other aspect that I'd like to touch on is what more can people expect from Zoom in the coming years or coming months, as your users are rightly saying that work from home is going to be working remotely is going to be a norm. Any new features that we can expect? My personal favorite was the raise of the hand. That was the best feature, I'd say. You know, what else can we expect from Zoom? Are you busy working on something at the moment, improving the service provider?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I mentioned a couple of which have been rolled out recently. So obviously we have end-to-end encryption is there. That has been rolled out recently as well. We've, webinars are being used all the time for sort of virtual seminars, if you want to call them that, and events. We've also got Zoom Rooms, which is the ability to use Zoom on some really innovative hardware platforms that allows people to have a kind of a conference room type environment. Zoom Rooms are being used more and more in people's homes, so with personal sort of setups. So there's lots out there, and I'm always surprised. You mentioned virtually producing a radio show, so I'm gonna make a note of that one. It's the innovative use features which really, catch my attention every day. We hear about new and interesting ways people are using it, and with things like end-to-end encryption and so on, it adds that element of peace of mind as well.
Yeah, it's very important as well, because there was a pretty big conversation earlier a few months ago about the security of Zoom and the lack of end-to-end encryption, but now that you're rolling that out, that's incredible. I have another question about the future of Zoom in the UAE in particular. Earlier this year, the telecom officials, they lifted bans on video conferencing applications. Where do you see the future of Zoom in a post-COVID world here in the country? Have you been in touch with authorities? Can you tell us more about that aspect of things?
Well, we continue obviously to want to play a very positive and contributory role in terms of business and the economy and so on. And our job is to serve the businesses, the schools, and so on in a correct way here in the UAE. So we've always got our attention on that, and we hope to continue to play a very positive and constructive role in that respect.
Certainly is going to be a very interesting next few months and years for Zoom and other streaming platforms as well. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Sam. It was a pleasure hearing the plans and the success stories, as well as the feedback from most of the users.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Well, thank you very much. We look forward to welcoming you in the studios at some point soon as well. So that was a little bit of a conversation with Zoom about the world of virtual meetings, about working remotely, the future of the impact on the UAE economy as well. Stay with us on the Morning Majlis. We shall take a bit of a breather, and right before the headlines, news headlines, we shall return with a focus a little bit more on the charitable nature of the residents of Sharjah. What's happening? All of this will be discussed right here on the Morning Majlis.
If you liked this episode of the Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Bubbles.